Hi, Michelle here with ParkBenchTeam.com, and this afternoon I get the privilege to speak with Penny about Maud and Joan Antiques. And I think my first question is going to be if you could explain to us who are Maud and Joan.
Oh, okay, sure. Maud and Joan are my grandmas. And so Maud is my great-grandmother, and Joan is actually her daughter.
Okay.
Both have passed away. And Maud was a dumpster diver. And I remember going to pick her up with my mom, bringing her over for lunch or something. And she's like, "Look what I just found." And I'm like, "Where'd you get that, Grandma?" And she got it from the dumpster. So, yeah, so that's where the name Maud and Joan Antiques came from, was my grandma's.
That's really sweet. So now that you've introduced us to your grandmothers, can you explain exactly what your sale is here?
Sure. So this will be my third sale, and it's called the Junk Love Barn Sale. And actually, it's just held in my barn. It used to be my husband's barn, and it's his most of the year, maybe. And so what it is vintage treasures, lots of great junk, and things that we all want for our homes, and our porches and our patios, and things that we collect. But it's twice a year on Friday, Saturday, and our upcoming sale is this Friday, October 19th, and starts at 4 o'clock.
Okay. And why did you decide to open up? You've already shared with me
Sure.
off camera that you like to shop.
Yes.
But why antiques?
Oh gosh, I think the antiques really came from Maud, who I mentioned earlier, and then my grandmother on the other side. She always had just these beautiful treasures all over her house. My grandfather actually built a shelf going all the way around the kitchen and dining room, and it was just covered in items. And I think that's where my love came for collectibles and antiques and different treasures. I love decorating. And I guess the reason I have the sale, though, is I used to rent space in town at one of my favorite stores called Homestead, and I think I just wanted to have the whole store. There wasn't enough room in my space. And Darla does a great job at her store. I still love to shop there. I just needed more space, and so I moved home and took over the barn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've done a great job.
Thank you.
So this is your third sale. This will be your third sale,
Yes.
so you've already done two.
Right.
And as you've completed those two sales, can you think of what might have been your biggest challenge? Again, you were sharing off camera that keeping
Yeah.
maybe the dust off of some of the more delicate items.
Yeah, it's always a challenge to know when to start setting up. We're really kind of what you would call a pop-up shop. My store isn't open year-round. Right now you can come twice a year, once in fall and once in spring. And so it's when do I start pulling everything out from underneath blankets and sheets and out of boxes, and when do I quit shopping and looking for treasures and get to the business of setting it up and making it available for everybody to look at.
Okay. And what motivated you to do this at all?
Oh goodness, it's fun. I think it's creative, it's fun. I found that I was wanting to buy more than I actually needed, and so it was a way of shopping for treasures that may not necessarily go in my house because no more fits, but others might be interested in. And it's a fun way to spend our day. My husband and I run around to auctions and estate sales and every antique store we can find, and he very lovingly carries everything for me and doesn't mind too much that I've taken over here in the barn. Yeah.
So when you go on a trip, I guess then you don't fly. You don't fly the stuff back. So you must drive.
Well,
and you must drive something pretty significant.
So no, we have never purchased like a big cargo trailer or anything. So we use his truck. I've got a big Jeep, kind of a mini SUV, not a mini SUV, a big SUV. You can pack a lot in a truck and an SUV. And I have flown items back, probably the farthest from Canada. I found some really cool architectural pieces, and I'm like, which clothes can I leave behind? And so you shove them.
Maybe
No. Oh yeah, I could leave some of his clothes behind. So in some ways, when you pack lightly because you always come back with more than you started with.
Okay. And behind the scenes too, you shared with me a story about a piece. It's kind of a unique piece.
Oh,
I'm sure
goodness.
you've seen a lot of unique
Yes.
pieces.
Okay, so I was telling you about a piece earlier, and I don't mind sharing that story. I found this vanity, and when I went to pick it up, it was broken. And the person that I was buying it from was like, "I'm so sorry it's broken. You know what, you can just have it." And I want to tell you the story of this vanity. She says it came from a whorehouse in Texas. And it just was an awful story because I always thought it was a really sweet vanity and would look good in a little girl's room. And so I didn't really think that you'd want to share that story with a mom buying it for their daughter. So I ended up selling it to another vendor who fixed it up, and she took care of it. I'm not sure if the story has continued.
Have you seen
with the
it
piece.
since it was refurbished?
Oh,
Were you
actually
able
I
to see
have.
it?
Yeah, she went to a cell. It's in Jones. It's a huge cell. It's the, oh heck, what is it called? The chicken, do you know what that one is? It's the chicken ranch cell, or it's in Jones. There's like 600 vendors. It's
Wow.
a huge cell.
No, but it sounds like I need to.
It is fun. It's a lot of fun to go to that cell, and I've seen her out there, and she fixed up the piece. So
Okay.
yeah.
And did we give your address at the beginning so people
I
know
don't think
where
so.
to-
So we are located at 1916 South Union Road, and it is actually east side of Stillwater. You need to pass the fairgrounds 2 miles before you turn south on Union. And then we are the first place as soon as you pass 19th. And we'll have signs,
Okay.
and there usually is a line. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
it starts
let's
at 4
open it.
o'clock. Yeah, 4 o'clock Friday, and then we'll open back up at 9 a.m. Saturday.
But get here early, it sounds like, or you're gonna have to wait. or
Right,
have
well,
trouble finding
we have
parking.
lots of things. Parking, I think, the later you are, the further you'll park from the entrance.
Mhm.
And, but there's plenty of stuff, and we haven't run out yet, so we'll see. We'll
Okay.
just buy more if we do
Well,
for the
thank
next
you for
sale.
sharing with us
Yeah.
very much. We've enjoyed the